It's that time of year again.
This is our 2025 backpacking gear list.
We're headed out on our first backpacking trip of the season to the Grand Canyon this week, and so we figured what better time to go through everything that we are packing this year.
This list is going to be pretty dang similar to last year's list, but there's some things we've dropped some weight on, there's some things we've, in our eyes, upgraded, and just minor tweaks and changes to the entire list.
I am very curious to see what our base weight is at the end of this and see how much we've dropped from last year. I think our biggest goal is just to get lighter and lighter as the years progress, upgrade a little bit of gear every single year. We started out with really heavy pack, and I feel like we're really happy with where we're at now.
There are some points where we don't compromise on comfort because we like to go maybe a little on the heavier side to gain a little bit of comfort, but we are also willing to drop some weight in other areas.
A little bit moderate. We're not gonna be the lightest, not gonna be the heaviest, somewhere in the middle.
Not breaking any records here.
Okay, let's get into it. Starting off with probably the biggest change for this year that I think we're both really excited about.
We've gone hyperlight.
I did not know if this day was ever going to come, but I'm really excited about these. These are super lightweight and they're gonna carry a little bit differently, but I think now that we've lightened our load enough, this just was the next step.
So I've gone with the Ice Pack 55 liter. I'll be using this for a lot of different types of objectives. Backpacking, climbing, any mountaineering. This will kind of be my main workhorse, kind of all-rounder, and that's why I went with this model.
I got the Southwest, which is a very classic backpacking pack. I have pockets on the outside, which I really like, and it's a roll top, so you can make it as big or as small as you want. We both got 55 liters because I think that that's super versatile. Now, we did not get rid of our old packs because I really think that for us, there's still a lot of room to have a pack like this. We are mostly going to be using the Hyperlights on trips when we can go really light, like 30 pounds and under is the goal. And then these are gonna be great for like our climbing trips, like when we're bringing climbing gear, when we have a little bit more weight, maybe when we're going for a longer time.
Gregory makes really great backpacking packs. These are kind of like bread and butter, do it all, very useful, very comfortable pack.
Great ventilation systems.
Fantastic ventilation, fantastic suspension systems, easy access, a different kind of organization than you'll find in these one opening pack, especially for the weight. Like she mentioned, if we're doing an alpine trip, this will carry significantly more comfortable with a full bear canister and an alpine rack in it.
So we wanted to share these because I do think that these apply to most people, and I think that these are what's going to work for the majority of backpackers and is what's worked for us for the last 5 years. Yeah. But we're excited to try something new also. We're going to go through this whole thing kind of as we would pack for a backpacking trip, bottom to top. And so hopefully it'll give you an idea of what we bring and how we pack it in the packs, because that is also a science.
First up, sleep system. This is something we started using last year and have been completely converted.
We are using Enlightened Equipment sleeping quilts for this season and absolutely love them. These are a little bit different than a sleeping bag in that they completely open. So it's like one giant blanket, but you can also close them with some buckles and a little zipper. These are just really comfortable to sleep with.
Yeah, the ability to use this like a blanket, open the top, but also close up the foot box, because I like to tuck my feet in, is really nice. And it allows for really adjustable ventilation and like perfect temperature control. I'm gonna sleep with my foot box open.
So we both currently have 30-degree sleeping quilts that we use for 90% of our trips, because it does feel like you can really get really cozy in this if it's colder and it is gonna be 30 degrees. But if it's gonna be warm, I just lay this over myself like a blanket and I'm very happy and I feel like I'm in bed at home. So for these, we're just going to stuff these into the bottoms of our packs and let everything pile on top of it and kind of compress it down. Sleeping quilts are also much lighter than sleeping bags and they compress down really, really small. These are the sleeping pads that we have been using for years now and we absolutely love them. This is the Nemo Tensor.
Old Faithful right here.
We've talked about this so many times on this channel. These are super comfortable. They're very easy to inflate because they come with a little pump sack. I got a hole in one and it was really easy to patch, but I will say they are super durable. Like, I'm shocked that we've only had one hole in years.
I actually kind of get excited when we pull these out because they're pretty comfortable.
With these, we use a sleeping pad coupler most of the time, and this is just like 2 straps that wrap all the way around both of our sleeping pads to make a double sleeping pad in one, because there's nothing worse than falling in between the two sleeping pads. And we don't want to buy a double and have to have two singles. So this is like a great $10 addition to add to our pack. And last are pillows.
So this is where we aren't really willing to compromise on some comfort, especially me. See this thing?
I'm compromising.
It's massive. So I have the Xped Mega Pillow. It's got a fleece lining on it. It's super comfortable. It's massive. It's actually big enough that Zoe, in her little compromise over here, still ends up sleeping on my pillow with me.
We have two examples here. We have an ultralight pillow. This one's good. It's fine. It's comfortable compared to other ones that I've had. This is the Sea to Summit Aeros pillow. It's very lightweight. I am very jealous of Kelby's Mega Pillow. And one day we're gonna get two of these so I can stop fighting for it. Kelby's big ass pillow.
Yeah, hey, don't hate on my pillow. You had the option to take that one. Will our tent fit two of these wide?
I honestly don't know. I will say throughout this whole video, I'm referencing this little checklist that I made years ago that I still use for every single backpacking trip. I'll link this in the caption down below so you can print it out, or like I use it on my phone and draw check marks every time I've packed something. Very helpful.
Last part of the sleep/living system is the tent. This is the Big Agnes Copper Spur HV-UL2. We did a lot of research when we were looking for a tent. We didn't want to have to buy a tent within the next couple of years. We wanted something that would last us a long time, but also was highly regarded. And this is what we chose.
We've used this tent for 3 seasons now and absolutely love it. It's really durable. It has withstood some gnarly windstorms, some rainstorms, which honestly, that's the biggest test because some tents completely cave in that kind of circumstance. We've had no issues with it. Big Agnes is a great company. We've had a buckle break and we get it shipped to us for free just on the warranty. Can't say enough good things. I will say, if we were to buy this again, we would probably consider getting the 3-person. We currently have the 2-person and it's tight.
There's not a lot of extra space next to you.
There's no extra space.
Or even at the feet, especially these Nemo tensors, they're not the most narrow pads. So the foot box, our pads actually kind of cross over just a little bit.
So I do love that this one has like 2 vestibules on the sides to be able to put our backpacks, but in really crappy weather, it would be nice to be able to like move a teeny bit or bring our backpacks inside to get changed, or like if you end up being stuck in your tent for hours during the day.
A little extra space might be nice.
Also, I cannot emphasize enough that you should buy the ground cloth. I know it's an extra cost, but this ground cloth is what we lay underneath the tent, and this protects it from getting holes, protects it from moisture. It just really helps lengthen the lifespan of the tent.
So instead of keeping it in this bag, I take it out and I layer it in here nicely, semi-folded, really kind of like the sleeping quilt. It's gonna just get stuffed in here.
And then the poles you can like put on the side of your pack. And he carries the whole tent.
All right.
Next up, food, cooking, all that good stuff. So because Kelby carries the tent, I have so graciously volunteered to carry the bear canister, which is honestly, that's very generous.
Okay, so side note, we've had this debate and we've actually traded off before. The bear canister starts heavier, ends lighter. The tent weighs the same the whole time.
Tent and cookware.
And cookware. So I do carry the stove and the pot. We've swapped and she still decides to carry the bear canister, so.
It is my choice. I am a bear canister in the pack kind of girl. I just put this directly into the center of the pack and like this ends up resting somewhere around here because I just think that it helps really well. Like it works with the weight distribution. That's what I'm probably gonna do most of the time in here. I am interested to see with this pack, the other option is dump all this food into the pack, have an empty bear canister, and I can strap it on top of the pack. I think I'm gonna do both this year and kind of see which one I like better. I like the idea of it all being in here and ready to go when I get to camp, but this might pack better. So 2 options. This is a Bear Ball 500. This is what we use like for most of the trips for the 2 of us.
So with the food, pot and stove, and I know I'm showing you 2 pots here, but that's because we decide based on the trip that we're going on. So we have the Jetboil Stash, and that comes with a pot. And this pot we use most of the time if we're just eating Mountain House or home dehydrated meals.
The Jetboil Stash is a really cool stove that we really like for a couple reasons. You get this little tiny burner, and this is super lightweight and is very similar to like MSR Pocket Rocket, all of those kinds of things. But when you buy the Stash, you also get that pot. And the cool thing about Jetboils, if you don't know, is that they boil water in under 100 seconds. Because of these fins on the bottom of this pot, it distributes the heat really well and really quickly, and you can get water for like coffee, mountain house meals really fast. The other really cool thing about this stove is that unlike other Jetboils, like the Jetboil Flash, you can use a regular pot on this stove. Any other pot or pan from any other company, you can set right on top of this, which is very nice for cooking. We also did a lot of research, and this has some of the best temperature regulation, whereas some backpacking stoves like just put out as much heat as possible, and it's impossible if you want to cook anything. And so this is a great option for like any backpacking meal we come up with, because we like to make a lot of our own. We can do it with this. The rest of the cooking and eating stuff is quite simple. We both bring a long spork. These are essential if you're going to be eating anything out of a bag, because otherwise your fingers are going to get all over the food in the bag. A mug, we just bring these GSI Outdoors mugs. These are like, they have a cloth exterior so that it keeps the drink warm, but it's also very easy to clean because this just comes out.
But if you clip it to the outside of your pack, it also falls out.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
And then last, we bring these sometimes, we don't bring them all the time. If we're planning to eat homemade dehydrated meals out of Ziploc bag, we will bring food cozies. And these are just food cozies that we made at home. You can buy these, but we just made them with some car like window reflectix and some duct tape. So there's a little pouch, put the Ziploc bag inside of there, and then pour the boiling water into the bag, and it allows it to like reheat without just getting cold. Next, you cannot have food without water. This is our typical water filtration system. It's very simple, it's very reliable. We've been using it since we started backpacking. This is the Sawyer Squeeze. It's a very trusted filter. I trust this thing with my life. And then we use these Knock outdoor water bags. And this one's 3 liters, and this allows us to grab a whole bunch of water from a stream, bring it to camp, and have enough to like drink out of, make meals. And it's just very easy because you can roll it to squeeze the water out of the filter. I just saw Sawyer and Knock actually partnered, and they are now selling a filter with one of these bottles. I'll link it down below, and I think it's the best partnership to ever happen.
Jeez.
Now, to hold the water, this varies on trips depending on how much water we have accessible, how many streams there are, if we have to like large water carries, but most of the time, we both bring this really cool invention called hard side hydration. This is a giant Nalgene. This one's actually from the brand. This is just a Nalgene that Kelby had. And what's really cool is hard side hydration makes these attachments for these large Nalgenes for a straw like a water bladder. The reason this is so great is because water bladders are really difficult to get into packs unless they're completely empty, and it's impossible to see how much water you've drinking throughout the day. So it's very hard to regulate, very easy to run out. So this I can just put in the side pocket of my backpack and drink from it while I'm hiking, which I love. So I'm not like taking the water bottle in and out because that drives me crazy. I need water accessible at all times. And then I can filter water in here really easily.
There is also filter adapters for the straw inside of the bottles, but we typically prefer to keep the bottles clean. So if we want to put electrolytes or put something in there, we can just use the bottle however we want rather than it being a designated dirty bottle and then it's only used for dirty water.
Now, on to clothing. We're just gonna run through this really fast because we could probably talk about backpacking clothing all day long. This obviously, like everything, depends on the trip. Every trip is gonna have different temperatures, different rain forecasts, snow forecasts. This is just like a very basic summer trip list.
So on any average backpacking trip, you'll find me hiking in some athletic shorts of some kind and my favorite sun hoodie of the day.
And a hat, always a sun hat.
Always a hat.
And some wool socks. So this is what we're gonna be wearing while we're hiking. And then in our packs, we both typically have an outfit for camp. I prefer to bring like a tank top and some leggings.
Depending on the trip, typically I'll bring either another lightweight pair of shorts and maybe another sun hoodie. If it's not too hot and I didn't sweat too much, I don't mind wearing the same clothes at camp.
Then we both have some warm layers, and I typically just bring a down jacket and a rain jacket.
I run a little warmer. Most times I'm just bringing a fleece. I will also bring the rain jacket.
And an extra pair of socks. I typically bring 2 socks for backpacking, 1 for hiking, 1 for camp. If it's gonna be a long trip, I'll bring 3. Just like clothing, for footwear, we typically have a hiking piece of footwear and a camp piece of footwear. So hiking shoes, we've definitely preferred trail runners. We've preferred trail runners for years. The current shoes that we've both been wearing and really liking are Flux footwear. These are super comfortable. They're 0 drop. They have great tread. I've had no pain with these. Like, I run in them.
They're possibly the most comfortable trail shoes I've ever worn.
Wait, I didn't know that.
Hot take.
Yeah, no, these are really good. Then when we get to camp, we both bring a pair of camp sandals. I really like the Teva Universals. I think these are great.
I really like my Bedrock sandals. These have been my favorite all around camp, and that's not just backpacking. That's like when we're in the camper, when we're out anywhere, the Bedrocks are my go-to for walking around.
Just finding like a lightweight pair of shoes that you don't mind carrying can be so nice, because I personally do not want to be in these all day. Plus, you can also use these if you have to cross a river, or you can wear them with socks. Love them. Won't go without camp sandals. These are definitely a luxury item for us.
I will say the Teva Universals are definitely lighter than the Bedrocks. These are a little more durable rubber. Yeah, they're significantly heavier. I do have the Teva Universals and I will bring them. These are just my preferred sandals if I was being picky. Next up, everyone's favorite topic, the bathroom kit. The majority of the places we go backpacking require wag bags, and 100% of the time it's better for the environment.
Very true. So we always have wag bags. We typically bring one per person per day. And if you don't know what this is a bag that you poop in and then you carry it out. And it's not the most pleasant experience, but it's much better for the environment. This does say it includes toilet paper. Do not trust it. Bring your own toilet paper, because you are going to want more than the teeny little napkin that's in this. So we also bring some toilet paper and a little mini hand sanitizer. If a place feels like, or it says that it's okay to dig a hole, then we bring this ultralight trowel. This weighs basically nothing, and this is how you dig the hole. And what's really cool is this is how deep the hole should be. If we are doing this, it's really important to still pack out your toilet paper. So we don't have any right now, but we actually bring like dog bags, because they are not see-through. And so you can put all of your toilet paper in a dog bag, tie it up, and then put it in a gallon Ziploc bag. And you can have some privacy, but then you're carrying out the toilet paper, not leaving it behind, because it's very likely that that's gonna be dug up by an animal. Honorable mention for ladies, anyone who squats when they pee. I also bring a Kula cloth. I absolutely love this. I was really skeptical of it, but this is an antimicrobial reusable pee cloth. And instead of using toilet paper when I pee, I use this. The inside of this is what you wipe with. The outside is like a waterproof material. This makes me feel way cleaner when I backpack. And I just throw it in the washing machine when I get home. Okay, moving on to toiletries. We have different opinions on this.
Toothpaste and a toothbrush. I'm done.
These are toothpaste tabs. This is what we've been using for a while, and these are great for backpacking because we're not bringing this whole bag. I personally bring a toothbrush, sunscreen, which he ends up using anyways. I bring a chapstick with SPF, and then I personally do really love having deodorant on the trail. I use Wild deodorant, and they actually have these like small travel sizes, which are great for backpacking. It's not that much bigger than a chapstick, and this to me is worth it. And I bring a hairbrush because I have really thick hair, and if I don't bring this when I get home, it will be a nightmare. Okay, we are getting so close. This is just like some additional things that don't have a category. First aid kit. This is something that one of us always carries. You can make these at home, or you can buy one that's already pre-made. This makes it super easy, and I don't worry about forgetting things, and then we just replenish it as we use it.
Other essentials, non-negotiables, headlamps. We both carry one of these, and our Garmin SOS device. This is the InReach Mini. Always clipped to the pack, always there just in case. Really nice peace of mind and insurance.
We also always both carry a multi-tool. This is mine. It's teeny tiny. It has a knife, it has some scissors, it has some pliers. Like, it's very, very simple, but has everything I need if I want to cut some food, start a fire, personal protection.
Now the rest of this is less essential and more optional depending on the trip and how we're feeling before we leave home, really. So we both sometimes carry trekking poles. These are the REI Traverse. This is an aluminum set with a cork handle. Kind of best of both worlds as far as like cheap and affordable, but still really comfortable. I always prefer the cork handle. These are carbon fiber poles made by Diorite. They're also cork handle. They're a little bit lighter. We haven't had these as long. Honestly, these have been just our trusty trekking poles since we started.
And they're a great price for what they are. We always bring games because sometimes you're just at camp for a very long time. So we always have a deck of cards and Yahtzee, but like taken apart and put into a bag. So we have like a pen, the Yahtzee papers, and some dice, and those keep us very occupied.
Very, for hours.
And last are our seat pads. We personally have chosen to not bring backpacking chairs on our trips because they're typically about £1, and to us it just doesn't feel totally worth it. But seat pads are wonderful and they weigh next to nothing. So this is just like a little foam thing. I just put it on the outside of my pack. You can set it on a log, you can set it on a rock, you can set it like up against a tree with your pack. To me, this is worth the extra weight.
Far lighter than a chair.
And $20. Only $20. Some other things that I have on my list that you typically don't want to forget. Ziploc or trash bags. We usually pack that with our food, or like pack all of our food into Ziploc bags, use those as trash bags. Permit, print that out. ID, cash in case like you end up somewhere where you're not where your car is and you need to ride somewhere. And then bear spray. If we're going into grizzly territory, we bring bear spray, and medication. Okay, let's put all of the rest of this stuff in our pack.
Should we weigh them?
And weigh them.
Whew.
So a base weight is kind of difficult because everything changes per trip, but we're trying to get like an average base weight of what we're going to be carrying minus anything that's consumable. So water, fuel, and food. This is everything besides that. And then we have like our clothing that we just talked about in here. And that's what's considered a base weight. Google says traditional base weight is about 20 plus pounds. A lightweight base weight is under 20 pounds. And an ultralight base weight is under 10 pounds.
We're not ultralight here.
I think we'll
Promise you that.
lightweight, hopefully.
I'm hoping for lightweight.
Okay.
The trusty scale is coming out.
That says 11.4 pounds. Let me do it. Here. I'm gonna go at 12.8.
We'll go with that one.
That's pretty light.
What do you think mine's gonna be?
Heavier than, well, probably heavier than mine.
Mine says 13.9.
Okay, those are pretty good. I don't remember what our base weights were last year. 15.3, 17.3. But I know just dropping the weight on the packs made a huge difference. I'm really excited to be backpacking with this light of a pack this year. Our problem is we always overpack food. So our goal this year is to really nail down how many calories we need, what we want to eat, and not be walking out with like a ridiculous amount of snacks. Thank you so much for watching. We have all of our gear linked in the caption below. I know this was a long one, so thank you so much for sticking around.
Hope everyone enjoys their backpacking trips this year, and thank you so much for stopping by. We'll see you next time.